So, you can probably tell by now what I'm about to rant about. And full disclosure, Johnny Harris and John Oliver have made some incredible videos on this topic that is a lot more in depth, and I don't care if you guys click off right now to watch those videos instead. A small channel like mine probably won't do much, but I think those videos will never have enough views. It's not just Qatar, but almost every World Cup host nation has had its fair share of protests. You guys might have forgotten about the 2018 Russian protests against FIFA, and I said forgotten because it was a somewhat big story leading up to the World Cup, but everything just got lost after the first goal by Kaczynski. It's sad because protests at the time were rare at Russia, and the problems just got ignored. But the problem of this year's World Cup is much bigger than taxpayer money and just general inconvenience for the citizens. It's about slavery, modern slavery. Let me paint you guys a picture. A 30-something-year-old man from one of these countries is trying to find a job to support himself and his family. Him being from a relatively underdeveloped part of the country, maybe could earn $100 a month if he gets lucky. Yeah, he could go to the city for a better job, but then again, he can only manage to get about $250 a month, plus he will be away from his family and friends. Then he meets this man. He's a recruiter for an employer in the Middle East. The man says you can earn upwards of $2,000 a month if you go to Qatar. All accommodations will be paid for, but the man has to pay the recruiter a recruiter's fee because it's just standard practice. Only $4,000. $4,000? The man can earn that in 2 months. And if he's going to be away from his family, he might as well go to Qatar. His accommodations will be paid for, and he can send all his earnings back home. Sounds like a good deal. So he goes for it. He doesn't have $4,000, so he goes into debt to get that money, and now he's off to Qatar. He arrives at a concentration camp. His humble abode. The quality of the place is not up to his standards, and he has to share it with like 8 other guys. Not exactly his style. But he came here to work, goddammit, not take a vacation. The employer comes over and asks for your passport to check up on a couple of things, and tells him to go to work at 12 in the morning in the scorching Qatari heat, where the temperatures easily go above 45 degrees in the summers. His building only has like one AC for like 30 people there, and the employer expects him to go to work in midday. The employer calls the workers lazy and says they have a stadium to build in the middle of a desert. It can't be completed just by working nights. So the man takes a special bus, takes his special route, and goes to work, takes minimal breaks, and comes back to his building. A few months pass just like this. He complains to the employer that his salary hasn't been paid and his passport not been returned. He tried to participate in a few protests, but nothing happened. The employer just says he will get his salary soon. And one day, the man, while dreaming about a happier future for him and his family, never wakes up from his dream. He suffered a heart attack. His body is sent home in a bag. This is the Qatar they want you to see. This is not a screenplay I wrote. These are real stories from men who have gone to Qatar. Qatar and the kafala system, where the employer does all the shady stuff like hiring recruiters, not paying salary, and making the workers work long hours, has actually been phased out. But not really. The workers' buildings have been properly reconstructed, and the workers are only permitted to work at nights after the completion of the stadium. The corruption for the whole FIFA thing was massive. Just go see Johnny Harris's video on the topic. I mean, no sane committee would approve of a football match in the middle of the desert. And of course they had to choose the desert cause that's all there is. The workers had to also make an entire new city around the stadium. Pretty cool. I mean, they spent around 200 billion for everything? Like, why spend a couple of millions more here when you can spend a couple of billions on this. This picture makes me so mad. They are running air conditioning outside in one of the white posh areas. Do you know how inefficient that is? It's understandable that the workers had to work so hard. They basically had to build a city overnight. But what I want to know is this really the cost to enjoy football? To enjoy FIFA, where more than 200 countries come together? Does the cost to enjoy this really have to be this? I don't know. Besides the modern slavery, Qatar has also tried to suppress the press, spread propaganda, and the whole One Love armband thing. It's funny seeing the players who openly supported the movement backtrack. I mean, what are you gonna do? Remove the armband or become an enemy of their nation? To be honest, I'm not really a fan of sports in general, but even non-football fans watch and enjoy FIFA. But this year the things that have happened and the way FIFA tries to spin it makes me question things. I'm not telling you to not watch FIFA, and I don't want to guilt trip you either. It is the fault of FIFA and their management. They have openly made comments about how it's easier to organize in a suppressed country rather than a democratic one, and openly made jokes about the whole Qatar and LGBTQ thing. Still, I kinda wished I saw the Qatar matches. They are like the first host country to not win the opening match and not qualify to the round of 16. But the heads of Qatar probably don't care anyways. They just wanted to brag that they were the first. But I do want you guys to know the cost of this. The sacrifices people more unfortunate than you have to make. And how it's being swept under a rug and shown to you. How countries exploit cheap labor. Because even though Qatar's case is extreme, almost every country is guilty of it. But the most infuriating thing to me is that Qatar has labeled most of the deaths as natural deaths. They do that for their image and also to pay less damages to the families. You have all this oil money, spend billions on this, but don't have any money for, I guess, them. Football is a game that has the power to bring people together. Football has the power to heal, to forgive and inspire. But with all the glory and happiness FIFA brings, I feel there are a lot of unanswered questions. The corruption, the favoritism, and suppression.